Spain is surprisingly high level in terms of how much and how fast the community has grown with the same resonance of the original spirit of LudoSport that the founder masters wanted. When I visited Madrid, I felt like it was like being home. Not just speaking Italian, which was the only difference, but I felt like exactly the same spirit of camaraderie and being like a little like jerks and like having fun and being the community which was pulsating around the core, which was the spirit of being together and having fun. That's what I really felt exceptional of Spain with respect of all other nations in LudoSport. Ciao, sono Daniele Maggi e sono qui presente su LudoSport Madrid Ask Me Anything. Sono pronto a tutte le vostre domande. Vi aspetto. I thought in almost all countries where LudoSport is, and I enjoy to duel mostly outdoors than inside any gym. Probably the most memorable place where I did do a combat has been on Treasure Island in San Francisco. That duel was in an island in front of the city, and we were shooting for the Story of Light Part 3. It was not a real competitive fight, but it had to be intense. It had to be a very good fight eventually, and that was really awesome because of the background. Other than that, a real competition where it was really like a duel, an official duel between two LudoSporters that has been really fought with intensity. It has been in Rome with people that hosted me for about a weekend, and we were in a park, and we did like a very good fight. My combat name, my word name is Kaizen. It is a name that I chose in 2009 when I came into LudoSport for my first classes. It took me about 2 weeks of finding the name. It was pretty natural. At that time I was in a transition phase of my life, and I felt very interested in getting better. Better with respect of what I was there and what I was already good at, but I wanted to have no mercy towards myself. I wanted to be even better than that. And I found out, because of the job I was doing, Kaizen is the spirit of continuous improvement. It has been famous because of a Japanese application, and Kaizen means that you will never be stopping and fully satisfied to the level you achieve. You're going to work on yourself to get better and better and better. It is a two-edged knife. I learned of myself that Kaizen needs to be very focused on yourself, and to be also able to be happy of what you have achieved until that moment. Kaizen doesn't mean you are always unsatisfied, because of course you can do something better every time, but you have to enjoy the moment and use that energy to get even better. So this is my combat name, and I'm very proud of having chosen exactly that one. I have been gifted by the masters the opportunity to help them in create the best saber for LudoSport academies. It was the end of year 2014. At the original boot camp, that was the initial name for the SIS. The first real prototype of sport saber was designed by the sabersmith of the academy in Milan. At that time, one of them is Stefano Madama, Don, currently also a competitor of the Champions Arena. From that moment on, it was necessary to move and leap forward into a new generation of design that was combining further features that we wanted and the masters wanted. I have been in the past an engineer, and I felt like I could somehow use my experience for something that for real could have given me a mission, a feeling of completion of a path. And so I accepted this challenge. It was really a challenge because from an almost blank piece of paper, it has to become a tool that the academies had to use for years in the future and to let people enjoy the experience of lightsaber combat. I am an engineer and as a designer, I know the most important part of a project has to be the functionality and the reliability. And as a lover of art and ancient art, I also really enjoyed the beauty of especially the ancient Greek arts. I believe these two factors combined made me design the Polaris SSC1 the way you have seen it. It reminds of the shape of like the columns that you can see in the Greek temples. It has ratio between the different parts which resemble and try to get as close as possible to the golden cut. It is like a ratio, a proportion that is repeated by Michelangelo in the David statues, and all great artists did. I tried to get inspired by all these studies and mix them into something which was functional and possibly also good looking. I still love the SSC1 project, even though I have to admit the SSC3 project has been a really good evolution to this, in the versatility. In terms of beauty, I still prefer the SSC1. Never. Of course, it is to be understood. What does Rinnae means? I mean, I heard that in the previous interview, and how can that be inspiring to a new clan in Milan? I would love to do this, but Ricardo, you have to bring to Rinnae something more than just Ricardo Navarro Hernandez. You know, Kaizen means something more, right? Okay. I love you too, you know. I believe the real nature of LudoSport is that it connects people. And I believe that if I can cross blades with you, this is actually the best way we can communicate and get known to each other. Far more than maybe having dinner together, or, well, probably dinner is not, if in Italy it is pretty much intense, but it is something that really brings people into connection. And I believe in LudoSport, most of the people sometimes feel like a little bit scared of doing duels because it's about points are at stake. But actually, you will be never in condition to duel for real if there is really nothing at stake. I have a lot of great sparring, don't get me wrong. I love to do sparring for the sake of doing sparring at events during the convention. We just love to do our techniques in the best. But if you have that thrill that brings you to say, even if there is just one experience point or 3 board points, it makes it so much fun, more fun. And I get to know you better, and you will help me in get my understanding of myself, of who I am, even more. I love Form 4. I'm currently abandoning in my growth path of LudoSport. I could have been choosing between continuing over Form 5. What I actually did, because of the recent introduction of the new reform in LudoSport, which is applied currently in Milan, and I'm sure it will be soon also in the entire world, but I chose to not complete the path on the long saber to Form 5 and to continue and do one other year of Form 4. And by the way, yes, I had the opportunity, and I feel lucky about having the dual wielding because this is very cool. But this is just to a discovery and to get my understanding of who I will be duel with together in the future, so I know my enemy. But Form 4 is exciting. It gives you change in height, it gives you change in distance, it gives you change in speed, and it's also very demanding physically. I am wanting Kaizen, you know, to complete my growth into also a more energetic combat making, still by doing graceful and soft landing of my hits. You will never know. This is a question that requires a little bit of study. Stuff in one piece, which is not modular, so it does not require the connection of two elements, is certainly very cool in terms of the stiffness of the hilt, so it is very effective and probably more lightweight. However, it would be forcing those who want saber staff to just have one saber staff and not being able to use it for other reasons. And we know that a good sports saber is not really cheap, and this is probably the reason we don't want yet to design our single piece saber staff. But who knows? Jumping. Actually, it's not a technique. Before some nitpicker, they will be just commenting this. But I believe there is, among all techniques, the ones that are combined with elevation change, which I really do like a lot. I certainly consider that fendente is a lot underestimated, and it should be practiced more. This is a tricky question, you know, and I will answer in a way that I will just avoid the trap that you're going to make to me right now. I believe that every academy has its own heart and spirit. In every academy that I had the luck to visit, I felt it in one way or another. I was impressed by the welcoming heart of the Rome Academy, from the blissful and joyful spirit of the Emilia Academy. I do really love the Madrid community in the sense of how welcoming, and they surround you with the intensity and genuinity of the good character you have. I could say the madness of Swedes is so far not to be beaten by anyone, and I could be continuing this way. It's just one thing. It's one name, one sky, everywhere we go. My baby, my favorite, is still the Polaris SSE1. The day I entered LudoSport, I felt like my life was entering a new dimension, and in those 2 hours I was inside the class, I felt like, wow, this is impressive. I'm feeling well, I'm meeting new people, I'm making new friends, and this was growing and growing every day that I met new people. I felt like it was born as an idea after I had quit LudoSport for about 2 years because of job reasons, from 2010 to 2012. I felt so bad, and I felt that if ever it would have been happening that I would have been leaving LudoSport for some reason, I would have been bringing LudoSport with me and create a new community. This is why I wanted to become a LudoSport instructor first. And then I discovered there are a lot of perks. If you become an instructor, you can say flessioni, and this is just like, you know, it gives you like sense of power. But more than that, and this is the real reason, I discovered the beauty of seeing a new pupil course, not knowing anything, being able to place to the best students in a tournament and applying what you were trying to bring them to learn and the technique, and even being able to beat yourself. It means you really did the servizio to the entire community. Have fun a lot, and don't be scared about the judgment. There is LudoSport once you enter the door. we are all on the same level. Respect is the first thing. Find your limit and let the other friends that you are doing the exercise with to exploit them. Find how to beat your limits, get better, and have fun. Again, this is the real key that you have to take care of. Once that you are growing up, you may also want to focus a lot to other factors, like becoming stylish, becoming very good at combat, but you first have to have fun. It was late 2008, 10 years ago. This same time, 10 years ago, and I was searching for a lightsaber replica to gift it for a Christmas present to a friend of mine. So I googled lightsaber price Milan, and the second entry of Google was LudoSport's Lightsaber Combat Academy, and I was just saying, what? There is Lightsaber Combat Academy in the world? And then I clicked on the link and I discovered it was like 1.5 kilometers from my house. So eventually I bought 2 sabers, and at Christmas I gave it as a gift, one to my friend and the other I kept it. I was having a mole lightsaber, and we went at the first opportunity we had to do a trial class, and from that moment on we subscribed and started the LudoSport's together. Being left-handed is just awesome, and because they're right-handers, they don't get this. They cannot get used to that. It's an advantage, not because we're better, because just they are not at the same level. You know, it's very easy to say. And in terms of LudoSport's, the only real problem is if you have like a right-hander as an instructor, because you need really to adapt. But hey, you do it all the time with the rest of your life, so this is not really a problem for you. I have many, and it depends on what I'm trying to train. If it's training, so I have to repeat movements and do like sparring on exercise, I believe that another one bites the dust of Queen is certainly one of the best. If I do have to do duels and spar, AC/DC Shoot the Thrill is certainly one of my favorite. There are many others, but these are certainly the best. It depends. The Form 1 technique that is most difficult to learn from the pupils when they are at the very first moment to try the class, it's probably the lower parries. So the wrist movement that you have to do with the pendulum and avoid like changing the angle of your shoulders because you don't really know what you're doing with your wrists. The more you get higher level, the more of course it's become difficult. Ottava is certainly one of the other that it's more difficult for typically. And the more you get further with LudoSport's, the more there are all difficult techniques because the bar raises every time, and this is what keeps me in LudoSport's because it's like a continuous improvement path. Turbo. You have to really use them if you feel it is important for you. I do believe it is a combat sport, and there is nothing which is risk-free in a combat sport. I do see American football players, they are geared up and covered with protections, but they still get injured. Because of the protections, they feel they can even push more. And that brings to the limit that exceeds your body plus the protection. I do strongly believe in the fact that you are the protection, your control, your willpower, your ability, and your constant and fatiguing repetitions of all the movements. It is too easy to just gear up and say, okay, now I'm protected. I do strongly also believe that we have to continue the path on growing and to find the way that the protections are used in the right way. And I would not be against the implementation of an evolution on the rules of protections to have the community of LudoSport become even safer, we are doing this with a safer design. I believe it can be effective in also the protections. You have to ask that to the founding masters, and I don't want to be there. The best way to promote LudoSport is doing this. It's doing this in the middle of the people, like it is something as normal as doing a basketball match in a square. The best way to do LudoSport is to let the people understand it is fun and it keeps you fit. It is also probably a good way to promote LudoSport, to let people understand how it brings people together, it connects. And so it creates community, and we so much need unity in this era of the world. To the sporters, I believe we just miss to have that years of experience as a sport, when we are probably having LudoSport for 25 years, to have all our instructors, all our referees, all our infrastructure to be super professional. Right now, it's the heart of the people that brings LudoSport into motion. And some may understand this as like we are just like a DIY discipline. This is not, but certainly it would be helpful in the future. I'm getting too old in LudoSport for have one just memory to which is the best. But my best feeling has been at the Europe Arena 2015, when I was stressed because of the delivery of the first batch of Polaris to the people who bought it before even knowing how it was looking like. And it has been a tournament which is now called Champions Arena, but the Europe Arena in 2015 was the highest level because we didn't have the United States. I was competing also. And I don't know how I managed. The day of the arena, I had just 2 hours of sleep before, and I had a lot of issues to solve before delivering the Polarises. And I could have scoring in between the best 8 fighters, and the Polaris, the golden one, the first golden Polaris, was activating at the first time. The champion of that time, Paolo Scazzulli, was really using the activation gesture. So that was like, wow, it works for real, it works for others. It has been such a great sensation. I feel accomplished. I don't know whether this is the way probably you're going to have that reply desired, whoever did the question. But loyalty in the sport to me is to be respectful and to be committed. Loyal in terms of, I want to be part of this community, I will be just doing the right things to have the community grow, regardless whether it will be my personal advantage or someone else. Loyalty is to do the security, is like when you're being hit in a duel of the tournament, no one sees, no one, not even the judge, and you're declaring, oh, and no one ever thought we could have been doing this. Loyalty means that whatever I'm doing it my best to sustain a discipline that changed the relationship with the morals and the values of the sport I used to know. Sooner than you expect. And prepare for it. You know, Ricardo, how many red blades they will be having after my visit? No way. Ciao, Ricardo. What do you think of left-handers?